Okay, well, greetings, Lage MAX-11 15 enthusiasts. Today I have just received my first MAX-11 15. I was put on the waiting list on February 21st of 17. Today is October 3rd of 18, so just a little over a year and a half wait. And we are going to open it up right now. Okay, so opening the box. There it is. It's a metal rod and a box with something in it. Okay, there it is. First, we're going to see what's in this box. Ooh, an instruction manual. Excellent. And looks like we've got a bolt assembly. Got some springs, one of which is because I ordered an extra. Guess this is the device that holds the spring compressed against the bolt assembly so that you can put it into the upper receiver. And this is probably the bolt assembly. Yep. Okay, so here's everything basically removed from the box, and one thing I want to point out is that the bag holding the owner's manual is actually sealed, which I think is very classy. Also, the bag holding the bolt assembly is sealed, which I think is very classy. So, just a bit of extra professionalism on the part of the Lage company. Also a sealed bag, very classy. But there's actually something here with the owner's manual. So I've opened up that nifty sealed package and we'll see what's in here. So it looks like we have the instructions for the adjustable gas block here, and some other goodies. We have a replacement safety spring. I understand this is a stronger spring for the safety. And we have an adjustable stock latch and wrench, and some gas block wrenches. Looks like there's 3 of them, different sizes. Okay, so this is everything that comes in the package. The upper receiver, the bolt carrier group, the buffer and latching recoil plate, the recoil spring, the installation guide rod, the spring installation guide rod, an adjustable stock latch and wrench, a new safety spring, and some gas block wrenches, the owner's manual, and the gas block instructions. Okay, so how does this all fit together? So first, I want to point out a feature of the bolt carrier group, and it's important to understand the function of this hole right here in the bottom of the bolt carrier. That hole will hold this little hook in place, the recoil spring is going to go down there and over this shaft on the latching mechanism, and that spring is going to get compressed by this recoil plate, and this hook needs to fit into that hole. That is the important function you need to understand when assembling the bolt group together with the spring, and particularly when you disassemble or remove the upper receiver from the lower receiver. You'll need to be aware of that function. So let's just go ahead and do it. So again, to assemble it, take the guide rod, put it in, slip the spring over, push it into the back of the bolt carrier, take the latching recoil plate, push it onto the guide rod, and compress it all the way down to there. Then you can take out the rod and we're good to go. So that's the assembled bolt, which we can now put back in the gun, or into the upper. As soon as we extend the bolt, it's got to be pulled all the way out for it to fit, just like an AR. Okay. All right, and then put the takedown pin in place. And we're good to go. It's assembled. Oh, I also want to mention that once you've assembled the upper with that recoil plate latched, the bolt will not fly forward. So if you pull the trigger, nothing happens. In order to release that plate from the bolt, you have to pull this all the way back, and then it should be good. At that point, you're good to go shoot. So let's go shoot. Okay, so after you've gone shooting, or after the bolt carrier has been released from the latching plate, before you disassemble the upper from the lower, you need to reconnect that latching plate into the bottom of the bolt. The way the manual recommends doing that is to take an original 9mm M11 mag and insert it into the original mag well, like that. And with that in place, you can pull the bolt back all the way until the handle stops, and make sure that there's some pressure on the mag to push that hook into place, and it should be good. Just want to look, I can actually see it if it's engaged. Okay, it took, so we can now remove the lower. Remove the takedown pin and slide the lower off We can slide the bolt carrier out like that. And if we want to remove the spring, which we probably want to do if we want to clean it, we can put the guide rod back in. And then carefully, have to maintain some pressure on the recoil plate, unhook it, and slowly allow the spring to decompress. Okay, so there we've got the spring out, we've got the bolt carrier out. That's how you do it. So now, if we had not latched that recoil plate onto the back of the bolt, that spring would come flying out of here when we took this apart, and it would be a nuisance. So at this point, we can take it apart safely, having locked that. Now, this will work. A 9mm magazine will work. Another thing that will work is a pencil. You can actually look down there and see, if the light was good, where that latching hook is, but that's just my own preference. So let's take it apart, and we can pull out the bolt assembly. There it is. And this is latched. Now if we want to, we can put the guide rod back in there. Well, there went the spring, so you need to be more careful than that. But that shows you what can happen.